morning, you beautiful humans. My name is Ariane. Andrew, did I scare you?
Yes, girl. And I am Matt Dillon. Welcome to another piping hot and slightly eerie episode of Sippin The Tea.
Where we sip the tea, and today our guest is gonna spill some serious.
She's gonna spill some serious tea. So yeah. This is Mama Dillon. Say what's up, and who we got there?
We have little Glitty Glit, who's trying to sleep because Mama is over here.
Mama's on camera today. All right, guys, so today's episode is kind of special. We are being joined by a spiritual medium, Candace Dalton. Welcome, my dear.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for
Thank
coming,
you for
sweetheart.
having me. Hey, girl. Hey, thank you. I'm so excited to be
So
here.
I want to just dive in, and for those who don't understand, I'm one of them. I don't know whether I'm a believer per se.
Yep.
I am open to understanding. So when I say spiritual medium, what is that in kind of the easiest explanation possible?
Sure. So I have a gift that I'm able to connect to the other side and bring through your past loved ones, bring through messages and validations, names and dates, things that only really you would know that would be special to you.
Okay.
And I totally respect anybody that has like an open skeptic. Like, I don't know if I believe.
Always open.
Yeah, totally.
I feel like life is about being open.
Absolutely.
Because I'm like, I was reading about you and I was like, the curiosity is there. So I'm a believer in everything, and you have to be open to experience, and you have to be open to learn, and if it sticks and applies to you, then yay, and if it doesn't, that's not to discredit what you do.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's for me, it's about, I was so excited when Ari was telling me, I was like, woo!
Yay!
And then I was like, girl, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna ship my pants.
Do you get that a lot? Do you get what's the response when you meet somebody? You know,
It's
it's somebody
funny.
like us. So we host a TV show, and I'm a publicist. You'd be like, girl, I speak to the dead. I mean, really, what is that like for you?
I pick and choose like who I tell. So if
She's such
I
a
just
pretty
know,
girl.
I know.
oh,
Yes.
thanks. If I like meet somebody, I'll just either know that if they're like gonna be like up against me, I'll just tell them I'm a hairstylist.
Yes, girl. And she has great hair.
Thank you. I did go to cosmetology school, but that's a whole other story.
I just said she went to cosmetology school.
I
though.
did,
You gotta
yeah.
have a backup plan, Chad.
All the time. But I can get wholesale pricing on the products at least.
She's a hustler.
And just be able to do my own hair. That's about it.
I love it.
God was like, let's go bring you to cosmetology school before you talk to the dead. So, but yeah, so it's weird. I remember when I was single, if I would tell, guys like, I talked to the dead, it was either like, oh my God, can you talk to my grandmother? Or it would be like, what are you talking about?
You're my grandma.
Yeah. Or I remember going to the bank one time and this guy like saw my check and he's like, so what do you do for work? And I was like, oh, I'm a medium. He wouldn't look at me the rest of the time, just had his head down. People get freaked out. And then there's other people who are like, oh my God, that's amazing. I love what you do. And I have a really great, amazing support system. I started off in Massachusetts, and so I do
Boston.
events. Yeah, good old Boston.
That's Boston.
Yep. And I've just had I have a great following, great support of people who totally believe and get it and have their lives changed. And that's what I want, for people, is to be able to release their grief and to know that you're going to see your loved ones again on the other side.
Now, my question though is like, when did you know? Were you young and
Yeah,
it's something that you
fascinated.
felt it, or like how did this all come about? Like, how did you know that you had this special talent?
So since I was little, I always thought I was a good guesser. Like, I always knew things so they happened. Yeah. And I didn't know that there was such thing as a medium. So when I was 7 years old, my Auntie Pam passed away, my mom's sister, and I didn't really understand grief, but I could sense her from the other side, and I could hear her voice, tell Mom this and tell her that, this is how I passed. And I would tell my mom, and she'd be like, Candace, where are you getting this information from? Like, are you listening to my phone calls? What are you doing? And I didn't know how to explain it. So a year after I think it was like 2 years after my aunt's passing, my mom had a surgery that she had to go under for. And before her surgery, she prayed to her sister and her dad are both in heaven, like, please just make sure I make it out alive. And while she was under anesthesia, she saw her sister and her dad standing right before her. So it was, yeah.
And I got hairy arms. Let me tell you.
Let me get my scissors out. I'm just kidding.
That's your past career, Chad. I can see that. I don't need to be a medium to tell you that.
So just playing with you. And so then from there it was kind of like I found out my mom was talking on the phone to my other aunt, which is my dad's side of the family. They're one of 9 kids. Total Irish Catholic family. Like, you have to have at least 9 kids to be an Irish Catholic.
9 kids.
At least, yeah.
Okay.
So from there, I remember my mom talking to my aunt Maureen Hancock, who's a really well-known medium in the New England area and all over. And she was telling my aunt these things. And I was like, Mom, why are you telling Auntie about seeing Auntie Pam and your dad? She's like, oh, well, Candace, Auntie's a medium. And I was like, what's a medium? I was like,
how old were you when
I was like
this
9.
So this was
yeah.
your first, I'm having all this happen.
Yes.
Like you're experiencing something.
Yes.
And you're not really knowing
what's the hell is going on.
But you're sharing it too, though.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't sharing it yet. I was just curious.
Okay.
Like, okay, why is she telling Mom this?
Did you think you were crazy? Because I would be like, did you try and suppress that thing of like, oh, I don't know what's happening?
I totally thought I was crazy. I feared death as a kid. Like, had panic attacks and anxiety attacks. I had developed OCD when I was younger because I'd wash my hands so much. I was afraid that any germs got in my mouth, I was going to die. And then what was going to happen from there? But, after finding out, when my mom said, Auntie Maureen's a medium, she can talk to the other side, I was like, okay, goodbye. And, I was like,
yeah,
they are fucking crazy. Yeah, I really, I knew we were mental, but I didn't know we were this fucking mental. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, it made me realize what I was in that sense.
But that kind of just was like,
that was a major boom. Yes, absolutely. But I started to suppress it from there. I was scared of it, and I was afraid of dying, and I just didn't want anything to do with it, so I suppressed it in the back of my mind for a little while.
You went to cosmetology school. That's like Greece, honey. Yeah.
Just go to cosmetology school. But before cosmetology school, when I was 14, it started to come back really strong. I remember I was in the 8th grade, and I had this icky feeling, and I'm sure you guys have experienced this too, where you've had like this gut feeling like today's off for some reason, right? Yes. And you're like, it just is a weird day. I don't know if it's the weather. We blame it on the moon and the stars, basically. But it's your gut intuition, and I just had this feeling that something happened to my cousin Sean. And as I got home, I went onto the computer when AOL Instant Messenger was around.
Girl, we're
going way back there. Yeah.
That's not dial-up, honey.
Yes, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. So I messaged one of my friends, and I said, I just have this weird feeling my cousin Sean died. And my friend's like, well, what are you talking about? Why would you say that? And right then and there, the phone rang. Stop. Yeah, and it was my grandmother letting us know that my cousin died in a freak accident. So it was the first time I experienced grief and the pain of like, we're never gonna be able to hug him or hold him or hear his voice or see him. And that was a major, major panic for me. I was, hysterically crying and, just what everybody else goes through.
You're a baby still. Young girl. That's a lot for any human being.
Yeah, absolutely.
But you also have on the back thing this gift.
Yeah.
I would call it a gift rather than a talent.
Thank you.
A gift is, I feel like the world has given you something. I may not understand it, but I'm starting to see like, she normal girl. She just does something very bizarre for most people's understanding. That doesn't mean that it's not a gift. To me, most definitely.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So it hit you hard then?
Very hard, yes. And
did that just turn you into, I'm going to just do it? Because it feels like it was encompassing you.
Well, it's so funny how it all leads up and how universe works. I knew I wasn't going to go to college. I was like, I'm going to go to cosmetology school. I'm going to open a salon one day. First week in cosmetology school, they had us fill out a questionnaire about ourselves. And the last question said, what's unique about you?
Oh, Lord.
Oh, my God.
Talk about sipping the tea, right? So.
I want to sip it.
Okay. Is that code if you say that, you get a drink?
I mean, that's just kind of like our thing.
We original, honey. We ain't like that program up on the Bravo. So now continue. We ain't like this Andy Cohen. Bye. Straight him, honey. Bye, girl.
Okay.
Tag it and go on. Yes.
The Shea Brigade.
I love it.
Anyway, so you were saying,
Ask your word, honey.
So I went to cosmetology school. The question on the paper, what's unique about you? I wrote, I'm a medium, thinking nobody's going to see this. And it got smacked up in the hallway of the school, and there's over 200 students. So word spread really fast. It's a cosmetology school. So from 9:30 to 5, Tuesday through Saturday, for 11 months, I was talking to the dead. I wasn't doing hair at all. I failed my license test. and my mom was like, you should open a salon called Hair On After.
Wait, what's your mom's name?
Carolyn.
Carolyn's poppin'! I live for her. She's good branding, honey. I might need to moan now.
She's really
You need
good.
to take her advice, girl.
I know, right? Just
That ain't bad.
I don't want to work there, though.
No!
Get a twofer.
Super, yeah, exactly.
Get your hair done and get a reading at the same time.
Well, my Yelp reviews when I was a hairstylist weren't that great, so I'll just do the reading and have somebody else
Oh, I
cut.
live for that.
But yeah, so
Cute,
yeah, it was great. And then after cosmetology school, worked in a salon, and then a production company from LA, ABC Disney Production, came to film me and my family for a potential TV show. And it was me, my cousin, who's Sean's sister, is also a medium, and we ended up doing the 70-person show. We were just there actually to support Maureen. It was her night,
Okay.
but we ended up getting a call like right at 7 o'clock when the show was about to start that Maureen's son just broke his leg on film. So she's on her way to the emergency room. And we're like, oh my God. And the producer, like with no question, she came into the back and said, all right, Stasha and Candy, the two of you, you're gonna need to get mic'd up. Your Aunt Maureen just called us. Your cousin Tyler just broke his leg. He's fine, but she's not going to be here on time, so you guys need to start the show. We'll see you in
Enter
5.
stage left.
Shit
There you
your
go, girl.
pants, like shit. I
Wow.
shit my pants. Like, where's the Ativan? And
This bitch is funny. I live for you, girl. I am.
so it was me and my cousin had to do it, and it was a leap of faith, and we did it, and it was amazing. So that got me out of my spiritual closet.
That moment, do you think that was that the game changer
That was the
for you?
game changer all day.
Because you were thrown in it.
Yep, I had no
They
choice.
pitched you in there, and
They-
you're like, girl, I gotta get that home run.
And that producer I'm going to see tomorrow for lunch, so I have to thank her for just like throwing me in it.
Well, you can show her your B-roll from us, Chad.
Wait,
We're gonna be on your show.
I love it.
and wait, so speaking of like a scary moment, have you had moments like when you've been at home where you're like, ooh, I'm scared of what I'm connecting to, or
Well, I'm very good about making sure it's only the highest and the best energy.
Sure, she
Yeah.
running out the door now.
Oh, yeah.
She's
I know-
scared of what the fuck's coming through with her.
I'm like, yeah. I mean, speaking of that, let's.
I'm gonna take it there. What are you vibing with us?
Yes.
I gotta ask.
Let's just get right into
let's
it.
get with the audience. They want to see it. So what
Like,
is?
fuck this talking shit. Let's get to the dead,
I'm
right?
not doing good, but I want to see
No,
you.
we play with the
I wanna see what
I'm super sarcastic, so please don't take anything a different way. But yeah, no, I only the highest and the best energy. So, but there have been times where spirit has been in my house, or right after my cousin Sean died, I think he was just trying to let me know that he was there, and the whole family was gone, and I was home by myself, and I was down in the basement, and there was a stand-up fan, and I was on the computer, and I was like, Sean, give me a sign. I just need to know that you're here. I just need to know you're okay. And I forgot about it, and I'm just typing away on AOL Instant Messenger, and all of a sudden the stand-up fan went boom, like 90 degrees, and then came back up and started shaking. And I screamed and I ran, and I was like, oh my God! I slammed the door. I ran outside. It was like 9 o'clock at night. I was at the end of my driveway. I'd rather be out in the nighttime outside than my own house. Freaked me out. But he did so many things to like just make sure I knew that he was there, but I was like, can you just come between 9 and 5 and not like 1 in the morning?
Please, I gotta stand for the shit.
Yeah, I don't want to get
sleep.
woken up. Yeah,
is
exactly.
so funny.
But so many really cool things, but all good stuff, you know, for
Okay,
sure.
so you're connecting to the good.
Yeah,
Which is
absolutely.
great.
Yep.
So, girl, give us a
Yeah,
connection
so-
of what
Are you,
you're
are you
feeling.
feeling anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll explain how it works if that
Yeah,
helps
I'd
you.
love to-
Sure, yeah. So
It'll help everybody. 'cause
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm novice.
Let me get my crystal ball out.
That's what I was like. All right, what you
Where
got?
is it?
I was like, where the ball at?
So how it works for me is that I'm able to see, feel, and hear as if I were in your footsteps. So at times when I see, it's almost like when you think of a memory or a flashback, you're seeing these quick pictures and movies in your mind. That's how I'm seeing the other side. So I'm not seeing them walk through the door and coming up and sitting next to me and shaking my hand.
Gotcha.
Got it.
Okay, that's
if that
getting
were to
exciting.
happen,
Yeah.
I'd be in the loony bin. But
Should be behind the chair.
yeah, right.
Go back.
And the way that sometimes I can see it super clear, and other times I can't. It just depends on their energy on the other side. How I'm able to hear them is through my clear audience. So I'm able to hear almost like you're on your cell phone, but the reception's cutting in and out. So I'm hearing bits and pieces of what they're saying. So it's like more like so I have to put the piece together. And then through my clairsentience, I'm able to feel. So I can feel how a person passed, or their emotions or their feelings. And keep in mind that even if you don't have a lot of people pass, you might be a messenger for somebody. So maybe your mom had a brother that died before you were born. You'd be able to deliver that message to your mom.
Okay.
Or if you have a best friend who just lost their brother recently, you never got to meet him, but you're friends with this girl, you'd be able to deliver that message too.
Got it.
It really all depends on them. I'm just like the mailman dropping off the mail, so it's like up to them.
She's cute, mailman.
Yes. No woman.
Sassy. I like your brand.
Thank you. Oh, I love you guys.
I
You
was
guys
like,
are
this is
fun.
cute.
Yeah, I feel more comfortable just like sitting and chatting with you guys.
That's what we're here, honey. We're here to sit
And the animals, you know, it's just
girl.
very relaxing. So, and then anything else, if there's things that I say that don't make sense right away, that's okay. I don't want you to be like, I gotta get it. You might text me tomorrow and be like, I get it. I'm understanding now what it is. I just wasn't thinking in the moment. Keep in mind of those who might be living to the other side might make a shout out to the living. So if I say a name and you're like, but they're still living, that's okay. They're not going anywhere, nothing bad.
Bitch, I gotta film one Sippin The Tea.
So,
I'm gonna namaste
okay.
myself.
Ooh,
and
okay, namaste. Do what you
do we
say,
use the
girl.
cards or you just do?
no, this is something totally
we don't get
different.
to
Yeah. And I tell people, this is our family motto, laugh, cry, shit yourself. So if you're going to cry, I don't get offended or freaked out at all. So please just let it happen if it does.
Last episode. Okay.
And if you're going to shit yourself, well, nice clean.
Andy, we're gonna need you to clean this couch. I'm just kidding.
Alrighty.
So you just give me just 1 second
Okay.
just so I can connect. But you're
Talk about
good. So
yourself.
you guys do what you got to do. But all right.
Girl, what the fuck?
Oh, my breath smells like coffee.
I'm scared, child.
Okay. So before I even got here, because they know and I was like hyped up, like, oh my God, I hope you guys come through. There was a lot of energy going towards you, Ariane. So I want to hold on to it for 1 second. I know we were talking right before, but I kept hearing from New York, from New York, from New York, or going to New York. So there's something there, but I'm going to put that aside because that was something different. Since yesterday, actually, like Spirit was coming forward and there's a strong female energy around you that I wanted to connect with. But I felt like this person is a bit older. So this would be like a grandmother connection, maybe somebody you didn't get to know. So do you understand that? Okay. And now connecting with your mom's side of the family. So I don't know if it's your...
My grandmother.
Is that your mom's mom that you never got to meet?
I know I did get to meet her, but
I'm seeing this, which shows like you didn't get to have enough time with
I was
her.
8.
Okay, perfect. So she is so freaking strong, and I kept hearing her while I was in the shower. Is like when I hear things. What does she mean, pussy popping?
that sounds like my grandmother.
Yes.
That is so her.
So she's like, what does she say? What do you mean? Like she's very like disciplined. She's like on it. She is like, you know, she's got her eyes. Her eyes speak with everything. You just
that's
know you're in
Bertia
trouble.
Harris. Yeah, that is Bertia. Yeah.
So
She was a Christian and she was religious. That's how they found out she passed away.
And don't tell me too much.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry.
I know everyone gets excited.
Yeah.
So she is super, super around you. And, you know, that was something like that. She kept saying, my baby girl, you have to know I'm here. And everything else in your personal life is fine. And she winks to you, and, you know, with like love stuff and all that. So she won't get into your business here because she knows that you're a very private person. They wink to me on the other side as my symbol. So that'll show like, okay, this is private stuff. Like, don't go any further, but mention it. So my heart was killing me before I got here, which would show that somebody passed of a heart attack or anything in the lungs as well. So this might be going with somebody else as well, because I do have a man here, and I think it's going more towards you, Ariane. So they don't always say like, hey, I'm connected.
Yeah.
And also, I don't get the difference between in-law, half-step, or ex. So mom is the same as mother-in-law, so on. She was also, she's showing me a man beside her, your grandmother. So this would show that this is either your grandfather, there's this other person that is right there. Jay is a very strong name for me. John is a very strong name for me. I'll hear that first before a harder name like Jordan or Jaden. So she is mentioning a strong J name, which I don't know if she's mentioning this person to the side of her or that is living. So I'm going to see if she can get more info.
Who?
Jay. It's 100% who that is.
You said John though, right?
No.
So I'll hear John first before anything else. It's just I have a database of names A through Z, so I'll hear Mary before Marilyn,
Got
so
it.
on. So, but Jay would be a strong name that you would understand.
that you said died of a heart attack?
I have somebody here that passed of a heart attack because my heart was like exploding here, or if it shows that there was something in the chest, whether that's somebody, sometimes it could be like a gunshot to the chest too, if that would make sense.
Okay.
So, but this is super strong. I'm going to put that aside for 1 second, just because there's a lot of people, even if you didn't you have a lot of connections to people with your family. I feel like it's just like this dysfunctional amazingness. Now, what's up with Dad, your father?
Like, what do you mean, what's up with
Are
him?
you connected with him? He's still living, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's pussy popping on a Yes.
Yeah.
So I want to. Somebody's trying to come through for him too. So I'm going to put that aside. I also, Matt, before I got here too, I felt that somebody was. I kept seeing that somebody took responsibility for their passing, which means like in either a suicide or an overdose connection. And that's coming through super strong because you guys are here together and because we have other people in the room too that might also pick up. But I felt like somebody kept saying, I'm so sorry I left. I'm sorry I left. And it was super strong.
That's you.
You understand that?
For me?
Not me.
Okay.
I don't know anybody that except.
That's suicide?
It's either suicide or an overdose, or like they take responsibility for their passing, meaning like they could have been drinking and driving and it was an accident. But I do feel that, so I want to hold on to it because this might make sense later for you. Okay, 1 second. I felt like I had a strong grandfather that was for you, but off in the distance, so he's really strong. When you guys were speaking to your other interviewee, it was like he was sitting right next to you, and I was like, get out of there. So I could really feel him. He's super strong. So I don't know if this is your dad's side of the family. This is your dad's dad? Or your mom's dad?
It has to be my mom's dad.
Okay. He is like, now you guys are super close, the two of you, understand that? He is awesome. So I gotta get a little close. Hopefully I'm not fucking up the cameras. But he's just like, he is so sweet. He's coming in here and he's putting like his hand on me. He's crossing his legs just like you. He's got a lot of class to him. He's trying to get a little close to me though. I feel like he loves the females. So he's just like, come on in, let me hug you. His hand's slipping down to my ass. I'm like, get back up there. He's got a really big laugh. I feel like he's like, where's the whiskey? You know, like, where is it? So, do you understand he liked to drink?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So, he wants to know that he's proud of you. I think that there was some things that you wish you got to say to him or you didn't get to say goodbye to him. So he's just like, it's all good. It's all good. He's so funny. He laughs through everything. Positive man. And so this is where my heart is killing me again. Like my heart's killing me. I feel like I cannot breathe. So I'm going to try to connect with this here. But you didn't get to see him before his passing,
He
correct?
died in emphysema.
Ah, there we go. That makes sense. Because I'm like, I cannot get it. So I thought I was having a
And
heart
I didn't
attack.
get to tell him that I was gay.
Yes, that's what he was getting at. And I didn't want to like be like, oh, you didn't get to tell him you were gay. And you're like, I'm not gay. I'm not gay. I'm like, oh my God.
And if he's drinking whiskey, is he being foul-mouthed? Because he was effing
yes,
this, effing that like
absolutely.
a
He's
dog.
my kind of like, I
Yeah,
love
like a
him.
mother.
Yes, he knew that you were gay. And he was totally okay with that. And you don't ever have to question that. Like, I wish I just got to tell him that he just didn't know who I was, though. He knew you. He just said, like, I just was going to wait for you to say it. So he is a hot shit. I love him. Give me 1 second.
He's a mess.
He's funny. He's like got like 2 other ladies with him. So hold on to this for 1 minute. There's 2 other women that are on the other side with him. And then I also... He's going like this. So do you understand, did he ever have a baby that passed or a child that passed?
Oh.
Do you understand this?
Yeah, my mom's sister, I think.
Okay.
Okay.
Was she a baby? Was she really young?
She was youngish.
Okay, hold it there. So he's saying like, I have my child. So this is my symbol, is I have my child. So this is your mom's dad, and this would be her sister. Got it.
Yeah.
So that is something that you can give to your mom, even though you didn't get to meet her. And I'm hearing like, so I'll hear Cheryl first, but I'm hearing a CH. And I don't know if there's an Australian name that I don't know about, but there's a CH, and it sounds like more like sh than ch. So there's a living name with a CH connection, or it could be the SH. So I want you to hold it there for just 1 minute. Okay. He said, don't worry. He goes, it might have looked like I was suffering. He goes, but I was ready to go. He wouldn't have let you watch him pass. And were you far away from him? You were here. He said that's where you needed to be. Yeah. And that's where it must have been him mentioning the New York, New York, New York.
Oh my goodness.
And you were trying to get home. You didn't know how bad it was though, because he said, I didn't want anyone telling you what was wrong. He's a very like he doesn't like the pity party crap. And he's like, oh, this fucking shit. And he's smoking a cigarette right now because he can. He loves his, you don't understand that? He loves his cigarettes. Aw, he loves you. He's like, oh boy, here we go. He's like, just make him laugh.
Oh, this son of a bitch.
That's some of a fucking gun, right? So he is so sweet though. Give me 1 minute. And who's George? Do you understand who George is? There's a judge, so that's that strong G or J connection. I feel like this is
It could be
living.
living?
Yeah, hold on to it. I feel like he's making a shout to the living, but I will hold it there.
Ooh, it's making me emotional for you.
It's so cute. So you're Papa. He goes like Papa or Pappy. Hold on to this for a minute.
Poppy?
Poppy? Yeah, who's
I
that?
used to call him. That's him.
That's
I used to
him.
call him as a kid, Poppy.
Poppy. I love that. I'm like, what's your name?
And
What's
I
your
used to scream at
name?
him in the park because he was being racist to all the people in the park. And, like, and they would be like, I'm going to stab
Sippin' the tea.
Like, I'm going to stab you. And I'd be like, Poppy, shut up. Shut up.
Oh
He's
my
like,
God.
fuck him.
Oh,
Oh, Lord.
I won't say the nationality, but he was.
He didn't like the blacks.
He loved them Asian ladies, though, honey. That's his last wife. She used to change his nappy. Cheers to him, honey. He brought that mail out of Bride Inn from Singapore.
God. You could write a book. You got stuff.
shit.
You got stuff. Oh my gosh. Now, are your parents separated?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, because he just said like, that's okay. That's.
Oh, yeah, we don't like
yeah,
my dad. I don't think he liked my dad.
And that's, yeah, because I think that he's showing me, because I'm like, what's your name? And he's like giving me the name you'd call him. And then he said like, this is what it is. Leave it. I'm your dad. You know, he's like, I'm here for you. And don't feel, it's like, you cannot feel selfish for going to New York. He goes, there was nothing going on down under, literally. He says that he is like, he's unapologetic, but I feel like he is, he did say things like, I think he gave you tough skin, for sure. Because I think he said things that, you know, sometimes we're out of line. And he got to review his life at times. Maybe not to you, but I think that
He was an asshole son of a bitch.
Yeah.
But in the best kind of way possible.
exactly, yes. Like he loves you so
My
much.
dress sense comes from him. Every collared shirt that I wore, or the checkers, or the things, all his.
Love it. I
Wow.
love it. Did he wear a scally cap himself?
God, I can't remember.
One of those little, so you might find a picture and be like, oh my God. He's trying to look really fly for me. You know?
He was
He's like,
fly.
oh,
He was
okay.
hot,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Even when his pants are falling down, the old bastard.
Yeah, he's very fond, like he likes to touch.
Yeah, he loves women.
Yeah, like I keep feeling him like kind of like give my little butt a little squeeze. So,
He'd
and I
offer
can
sex to anyone walking down the street.
I'm sure. He's crazy. Yeah, I know,
I
right?
wonder where you get your personality
no
from.
kidding.
Jeez.
Did he have a full head of hair himself?
Oh, yeah, he was
yeah, because he's
hot.
like, oh, yeah.
No, he looked like Marlon Brando.
You're gonna
He
be
was hot.
fine. Mm-hmm.
He was a beautiful looking, even when he was.
Over here just still pussy popping. Afterlife, he's still living his best.
I wonder if he's the last thing he called my mom. He's like, oh, I got a mail order bride from Singapore, girl. And she's like, well, there goes my inheritance check.
Oh my goodness.
I love it. I also, I do have a mail that's coming in for you too, like a younger mail that passes pretty quick. And because your grandmother's like, I love you, you know I'm here, but she's like, I'm not, like she just wanted to like be like, what do you mean?
That
Pussy
is
popping?
Bertia.
All day. So she's really like very protective of you. Yes, she's like has the rosaries and handing it over to you. She's also she's like, I'm here to help. She is head of the, like truly head of the God Squad. You know, she likes to help everybody. She likes to help the homeless. She likes to help this person. She likes to help that. Make sure everybody has food and clothes on their back. So she's awesome. I love your grandmother. I'm going to put her aside because she's trying to let this other man come in. I feel like you guys are very lucky. You don't have a lot of dead people, which is awesome. But this person is special to you. So I'm trying to figure out who this is. This is a young male. And it does feel like they pass fast because I'm seeing snap of the fingers and they're like, I'm okay. So, oh shit. So it's all good. All good. So I keep seeing like a heart, which means like super close to you, or this was a love of some sort, but this is somebody very close to you. So would you understand this? Mm-hmm. Okay. They first and foremost, I'm going to figure out who they are. Just tell me what the relationship is.
Ex.
Yeah, that's where he like a love. So he was in the car with me on the way here. I'm like, tell her it's okay, it's okay. Now you guys weren't together at the time of his passing. You weren't in a relationship, correct? Mm-hmm. He said it's all good. You deserve better. You deserve better. He couldn't give you everything, but he knows how much you love him. And so hold it here 1 second. He is like he said, you guys have a soulmate connection, but he said, I was holding you back from things, and you were trying to lift him up and make him better.
Wow.
Yeah, and he just is.
We can only
I know
laugh.
this person too.
Oh, good. So
I want to hear more.
yes,
now.
of course,
Continue.
yes. He's super, like, he's also fly too. I feel like your
Yeah.
grandfather's trying to, like, one up him, and he's so he does show that at the time. Okay, give me a second. He's really talking super fast because he's like, I'm here and I can talk to you now. He's been in your dreams, which are live visits. So you've had those dreams of him hugging you way back before he passed, and that was him being like, that was really me, and I want you to know that was me. Recently you haven't felt him, but he is very much here. So give me 1 second. I'm just like, what happened? And he just kind of like puts his head down, like, what happened? And I'm trying to figure out what happened to him exactly, how he passed. So hold it there. It feels like it's super questionable. Like I have a lot of questions around it, like a lot of question marks, like what happened exactly? And he's kind of like, what the fuck? Would you understand that he was kind of with the wrong people at the time? Not of his passing, but I don't know what was going on with what he's showing me here, or where he was that was questionable about his passing. He was alone at the time. Do you understand this?
No,
Okay.
he wasn't alone.
Okay, hold on for 1 second. I'm trying to interpret what he's saying, because he's going like, it's sticky, it's questionable, it's this and that, and then he kept going like this, which is my symbol, as one, or I'm trying to figure out if somebody else caused his passing. I'm trying to understand this. Did you get that?
Yeah, because it's very questionable.
Okay. So that's my interpretation. So they're showing me these quick pictures and everything else, and I'm like, all right, what's the one represent? Is that just one person, or does that mean somebody else did it to you? And I think that your suspicions are totally correct, without question. I think that he said, I would never do anything to hurt myself. And he said, I feel like that somebody else came in and kind of took his life, if that makes sense. Or even if it was, give me a minute, I'm so confused by him right now. He's very like, he puts like not the whole story together, and that was something that you were like, I can't do that, like, because you're not giving me everything, you're not telling me the truth on things. So he's still the same way on the other side, like, you gotta give me the whole fucking truth here. Give me 1 second to get him to just simmer down. I feel like I'm ingesting something too, like something's going throughout my system. So, like my blood feels funny. So this would show if there was like alcohol or drugs in the system. But it feels funky, like as if he wouldn't do that stuff. So, was he just found like dead? Like they didn't know, there was no foul play on him?
Head injury.
Head injury, okay. Okay. It's so funny, he's like private. He's like, I do just see this other person, so I don't know if he got smacked in the head or hit in the head, or kicked in the head, or whatever it might be. But it's not a gunshot, correct? Okay, because he said it wasn't gun, because I'm not seeing holes, which is my symbol. But he just, I feel like, was kind of left there to die. But he said, I wasn't suffering. I want you to know that I wasn't suffering. And that's something that you always wanted to know. And there had been some time between you guys speaking. And he's like, that's okay. That's okay. You were going on with your life. And he understands. He understands, and he's not holding that against you at all. He loves you, and he knows you love him. But he just wasn't able to have the capacity to have everything you need, and that's okay. And he gets it. They get to review their lives when they go to the other side. Justice was never served for him. Does that make sense? Nobody was able to find out what happened. His brain was swelling, is what I keep seeing too. So that's what they had found. He was already passed before he got to the hospital. Does that make sense? He said, I would have been the same because I didn't have enough oxygen to the brain here. And he said that it was just like a lot of swelling and possible bleeding too. But he said, I wouldn't have been the same if I stayed. So he just wants you to know that. He's got his hat on. He's got his nice sneakers on. He's like, I got to just stretch these out right here because I don't want my sneakers dirty. Like piles of sneakers, piles of hats. It was just unbelievable. Ma, he keeps saying ma, ma, ma. So there's a strong ma name. I'm asking him, give me names, give me dates, give me validation. So he kept saying ma. So that would be like a strong Matt, or I'll hear Matthew first, or Michael. So there's a strong ma connection. And I feel like he's reaching out to one of his best friends that you might still have a connection to. No problem. So you keep it in the back of your mind, and, and sometimes it's not always dead on with what the fuck they're saying. So, but yeah.
Can you say do you know what his name is?
I'm asking him, like, give me your fucking name. Like,
Could be what she thought it.
Wait, no. I want to see, because I want to see if she knows.
She said it. She said it when she first did it.
With that J connection.
Yeah.
So now he's not J, though. He's a full name, correct?
It's Joshua.
Joshua. There we go. So I'll hear John first.
Got it.
He was coming through from the beginning.
I was like,
yeah.
he was with your grandma.
Absolutely.
No, we gotta shake this out.
I just want to know I want to know what happened.
Not on camera. We don't want to know what happened, honey.
Yeah,
Okay.
this feels. I'll tell you if you'd like in
Later.
private. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like just for like your safety, that's what it feels like. But it feels funky, and I feel like this was a total it feels like a hit and run, like that kind of thing. And so, but I feel that somebody else saw it happen, but they're not speaking. And that person won't ever come forward, it feels like, because they don't want to snitch, is what I keep hearing. So
Okay, we're going to shake this out.
Yes, we got it. Anyways, real fast, girl, let's do cards.
She probably needs to take a beat, too. Sip some tea, honey.
Oh, so these lights are hot,
You
man.
sip some tea.
Oh, Lord. Okay, I wasn't ready for a little. We got a little moment here. I guess to get it together. We got to be professional.
I was like, girl, all right, so you bought some, the oracles.
So this is my Oracle deck that I created with Spirit. So people, I do events out in Boston a lot, and now being out in Los Angeles, I'm like, you know what, here's my creative time. So I've always wanted to create an Oracle deck.
Okay.
An Oracle deck, for me, you can come to me and connect to your loved ones on the other side, but I wanted there to be a way, another conduit for your loved ones to connect to you. So it's called Healing Messages from Above Oracle deck, and inside are a set of 44 cards. This is just a little guidance card and thank you card from me. And yeah, so I left you guys both some.
She is.
She gave us presents.
I like gifts.
Gifts are fun.
Those gifts on the other side.
Free is for me.
Right.
I need a cigarette. Here, Mama, go over there, child.
Your grandfather's having a cigarette. Come here.
Me?
Oh yeah.
Maybe he's
Oh
still
yeah.
smoking that stupid son of a bitch.
Yeah. He smoked till he died. He smoked till he died. He didn't care. He didn't care. But basically what you can do is you can, spread this out. And you just kind of ask your loved ones on the other side to give you a little message from the other side. So if you guys want to pick one, you can. It's up to you. You guys look scared. So you go
Pick one
first.
each?
So, it has to be your energy. So what you're going to do is hold the deck in your non-dominant hand, which would be your left.
Yeah.
And you're going to hit the deck 3 times. Perfect. That just clears the energy of anything that was from me.
Clears my energy.
So now just shuffle it a little bit so all your energy goes up.
Because I suck at the shuffle.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like the, Yeah.
Okay.
Now you can just spread it right out in front of you.
That way or this way?
However you want. Whatever feels good.
Okay.
Now you can close your eyes if you want, or you can keep your eyes open. You can hover over the cards with your non-dominant hand.
I'm just going to go right in.
There you go.
Go here. Give me that.
It's okay for you to carry forward here on Earth. I will always stick by your side through life's ups and downs. That's definitely from your grandfather, for sure.
Cool.
So, yeah. And if you want to pick one, I
girl.
don't know what time
This
you
is
got.
a nice way to end this up.
So do the same thing. Yep. With the left hand, I'm assuming. Is that your dumb? Which?
My right, I do.
Which hand do you use for pleasure?
Bye, Felipe.
This is sipping the tea, honey.
Sipping the tea.
Sipping the tea.
Here we go.
Your grandma's like, stop.
I know.
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, that's Bertia Harris.
Cool. So finding coins in random places is a gentle hello and reminder that I'm present. So if you find dimes and pennies in random spaces, right when you're getting in your car, it'll be a little hello from heaven.
Keep that in mind, girl.
Yeah.
You'll be like, I found a penny. So it'll be in the most random.
I'm shook at
Well, we're just gonna put it. I know, you have so much to offer, and I also know you have the podcast.
Yes,
which
I do. Healing Grace, the podcast.
Yes, which I was listening to a little bit of that yesterday,
Oh, awesome.
and Ooh, girl, you just
How often is that?
Well, I just did season 1, it's 20 episodes, but I'll be starting up this week for season 2.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Cool.
it ranges. I can do 30 minutes or an hour and a half episode.
So we're going to hit it here,
Yeah.
and we want to know where we can listen to the podcast, where we can find you.
Sure.
You know, this is your plug. Where can I book you, girl?
where can we have you at an event?
Yeah.
Right here.
So right here, you can find me on Instagram, Healing Grace the podcast. On Facebook, it's Candace Dalton Spirit Meet. Nope, it's Medium Candace Dalton, and my podcast is Healing Grace the podcast. And you can find my website CandaceDalton.com, where you can find the cards. And I will be starting a mediumship course soon, and an intuitive course. And yeah, it's just crazy. So I'm mostly on Instagram, Healing Grace the podcast.
Woo. Okay, guys, it has been some tea. We had some. I didn't think we both had a little moment here.
We got some tea. I just want to say
tea.
bye, Poppy.
Oh, I'm like, wait, where?
Wherever you are, bye, Poppy.
Bye,
I'm going to have a cigarette right after this, Poppy.
Yeah. Oh, I don't.
You ain't going to do that.
No, I don't do cigarettes.
All right. Well, until next time.
Let's do a little cheers.
We're going to do a cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and thanks to your loved ones.
Until next time, guys. On Focus TV Network, you can follow me at Ariane Andrew. She's actually up right now. You guys look. She was like, "Oh, I'm feeling the spirit of Jesus Christ." You can follow this little nugget at Pretty Grit.
You can follow It's Mama 2011 and me at Dillon 1983. This has been Sippin The Tea, honey, and we definitely spilt it today.
Ooh.
Thank you again.
Thank
girl,
you
for coming
guys
in.
so much.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, you got the wrong number. Click.